Alright, welcome back to the shop. Today's video is not really a tool restoration, I wouldn't say, because these aren't tools, these are headlights. I've got a new tractor, new to me. It's a 1971 Satoh Bison, also called a 650G. Can you see that? Satoh. Anyways, S-A-T-O-H. It's a Japanese tractor with a Mitsubishi motor in it. I've heard nothing but good things about it, and I've got some very astute viewers. Without saying anything, my little 30-second clip of me driving it yesterday, quite a few people picked up on what it was immediately, and I didn't say anything. But anyway, it's been on a small farm/horse stable kind of thing for, I guess, most of its life, and I was able to procure it, and it's just had some, it seems to be in relatively good shape, and somebody gave it a Rust-Oleum restoration and just spray painted the whole damn thing white. As far as I could tell, it was always white. But anyway, they just sort of didn't do a very good job. So anyway, these headlights were banging around on the front, and I didn't want to have to try to I didn't want to wait for them to break before I did anything about it. So I'm going to start with that. This looks like it was chrome, and then they just painted over it, because you can see they painted the top white, but then the bottom has got some residual chrome. And it has this design on the front here that obviously could use some improvement. So I'm going to disassemble these and take a look at the bulb. It apparently has 3 wires, so that indicates to me that it would be a high beam and a low beam situation. But I'm a big fan of LEDs, so I'm not sure what I'm going to do yet. But I'm going to get it disassembled, I'm going to media blast them, clean them up, and then I'm going to paint them. And I don't think that these were white. I can sort of see from, like I said here, this may have been chrome, and I think this may have been black. So anyway, we're going to clean them up, we're going to paint them, and do something about that bulb. Look at that, there's like a whole wasp nest in there. Anyway, so some time lapse of that. Alright, so those bulbs came apart relatively easily. The lenses are in great shape, and the bulb that goes in there is a A5675A Stanley bulb, which is sort of unique. I haven't seen this style where they've got this. It's just a typical taillight bulb style. However, it's got this flange on there. That's sort of new to me, and yeah, I was able to get one of these to light up. Even though you can see there's 2 elements in there, which supports my hypothesis that there's a high and a low beam in here. And then this one's obviously toast. So beyond that, there's also some flaking of the chrome that went on this bezel, which isn't any good. However, this fits in behind here, and there's quite a bit of latitude in there. So if I can find another bulb that's roughly 4.5 to 4 3/4 inches, or another housing, I can fit it in there. But regardless of what I decide to do with the light, I still need to clean these up. So that's my task at hand today. So let's bring these over to the media blaster and get these dusted off. The lights on the tractor sort of sit off bug-eyed, one on each side of the machine. And so if the tractor, let's say this is the tractor, there's going to be one on each side. The other one is out. I'm actually doing an experiment trying to test paint stripper versus the media blaster, see which one's easier. I know which one's faster, but I want to see, if I decide to do more, I want to develop a better technique. But right now what I'm going to need to do is close these holes up, because they've been flared out, and they've got that sort of bird's mouth shape there, and I don't think that's obviously not supposed to be like that. And it's happened with both these pieces. So I'm going to take this anvil. I actually use this in my media blaster to put the camera on to keep it from rattling around. But I'm going to take it, use it to form these back. So, see if I can't do that. Alright, so I was able to take the original bird's mouth one, it looked like this, and sort of pound it down into more of a square. You can see that this one's completely rounded out. This is the repaired one, and then this is the old one. And then that fits pretty nicely in this square, so it actually holds it in there now. And then there's the corresponding square here that I beat down into shape. And this can sit in there and rotate ever so slightly. Not a lot, but for enough for headlights to line up. And then this cap is the standoff that allows you to turn the bulb independent of that screw as it's mounted to the machine. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to paint these parts and try to source some headlight parts for this thing and see if I can improve on it, and maybe put some LEDs, because you know, LEDs, just, if you saw my Makita video the other day, you get twice the bang for the buck with a LED, I mean amp draw wise. So, you know, if you accidentally leave the lights on, it's really not a big deal, because, you know, you can come back 12 hours later and the lights and the battery's not dead. So anyway, let me get to painting these, and then see if I can't source some parts. Alright, so I've cleaned up the headlights for the Satoh tractor. I went with gray. I like gray, and I'm not sure what I'm going to do with this tractor. I understand that it was white. However, there's so many different colors of white. And anyway, I don't know. I'm not sure that I want to go back white again. But gray, you know, at least this is sort of an easy to find color. This particular, I don't have the can here with me. But anyway, some people probably won't like it, but it's my tractor. I'm going to go with gray. And then the back, I went with this gloss black, and there's some imperfections and stuff in here. I'm not worried about this thing being a trailer queen or anything like that. It's actually going to do work. And the bulb, you know, what we talked about, what I mentioned before, was these bulbs. I hadn't seen this before, and I can get these bulbs. I could go back to original if I wanted to. However, these housings and stuff were pretty clapped out. It looks like there may have been some other options that I could have gone with. Some of the Ford 8Ns and stuff like that have lights that are very similar to this and would probably work. However, they were 45 bucks, and I'm really not willing to spend $45 on antiquated technology. So what I want to do is try to adapt these lights. These are 4.5 inch, and they should fit inside the bezel pretty nicely with the Satoh lens on top. So it should look original, but function much more better. Whatever. Function better. Anyway, but what my problem is, as you can see, the housing here is out of whack, and I need to cut that off. So I'll do that, and I use the new tool that I got for that, actually, because this is cast aluminum, and cast aluminum doesn't really cut very well. A cutoff wheel is my sort of go-to tool, but I don't think a cutoff wheel would actually. The cutoff wheels don't work with non-ferrous metal very well, and I'll demonstrate something that's pretty interesting here. That was something I learned a while ago when I first started messing with Arduinos and microcontrollers and stuff like that. LEDs are actually light-emitting diodes, and if you know anything at all about electricity, you know that diodes only work in one direction. So here we go with I've got positive to positive, negative to negative. Let's see if I can do this. And we've got light. That's pretty bright. But you know, when I flip it over, if I do positive to negative, negative to positive, I get nothing. So here I am. Anyway, so LEDs can be a little fickle sometimes if you're toying around and you're going to try to replace the LEDs, particularly in instrument clusters and in cars and stuff, I'd watched a guy replace all the conventional halogen bulbs in his dashboard with LEDs, and he had them in this way when they should have been in that way. So that 180-degree motion sometimes with aftermarket LEDs can be very important. So make sure and test those. I had the same problem with the door lights in my Chevrolet. So anyway, I'm going to cut this off using my new reciprocal saw. It's a Makita, and that should do a pretty good job. So anyway, I'll get time lapse of that. Alright, so I've got the housing, the new LED light mounted in there. I was unable to find a good means of getting the Satoh lens to fit back in there nicely. There's not enough room to get everything to fit in there. Actually, there's so little room in there that I had to come through and file the ears off of this. The side that I cut off, I continued to grind that down with the belt sander and then fit that in here. And then the lens fits on top of that. And that fits pretty good. There's nothing rattly about this. It's not janky or anything. So that's held in there nicely and firmly. Again, a little disappointed on that front. But this should be very functional. Like, this is a working machine. So to go through and try to get this one to fit in there would have been a tremendous amount of work. And honestly, I don't think it would have come out very nice. So that's going to be it for this project. I'm not going to bore you with the grinding of the other one. I mean, there's really nothing to it. And that's just going to be a short little video for today. So anyway, thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. And also, you know, this is just, doesn't qualify as a tool or anything. And it sure doesn't really qualify as a restoration. It's just me tinkering around with parts of a larger project. If you like this kind of stuff, you know, give me a thumbs up. If you don't like it, give me a thumbs down. That's cool. I'm completely okay with that. But if you want to see some more when I tinker around and restore bits and pieces of this tractor or any other little project that I got going on, let me know. And I'll include the video if it's, you know, there's people that care about it. So anyway, again, thanks for watching, thanks for subscribing, and have a good night.